This is the commentary box.
To me, tweeting was something that birds did.
Dilly din, dilly dong, come on!
Éder vai aguentar bem, Costiel, e falta apoio sobre o lado direito, sai remate e o gol!
From a yard out, he couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo. And the celebrations begin.
Hello and welcome to the commentary box. Today it is Jake, of course, and I'm joined by Sam.
Hello.
Yes, this is our fourth attempt of doing the intro, as we had some technical issues with Sam trying to get words out of his mouth. Didn't quite go as planned.
I've got a cold and I'm just not feeling it, and I tried to introduce it.
That's okay, that's
just
okay.
It wasn't working for some reason.
But we would like to start this off a bit differently. We had it a couple of weeks ago when we had a thing of Ryan Mason and his head injury, had to retire. And we got another player died, an Italian player. Who was it again, Sam?
It was Davide Story, and tragically passed away. I think it was on Sunday morning. And here at the commentary box, we just want to say our hearts are with his family, and it must be a terrible situation. And he was a great player for Italy and all his teams, and it's just really sad to see him pass away.
Yeah, anything like that sort of happens, it's horrible seeing football, especially when you watch it week in, week out. Just imagining you can relate to seeing one of your players that you see. Obviously, you watch them every week in, week out, and yeah, it's a big thing. But so we've got three topics today. We're going to be talking about Arsène Wenger, spelt correctly this time. If you've seen the tweet, I made an error on that. Never mind, let's move on. We're also going to be talking about Liverpool and just how good their attack is this season. And then we're lastly going to be finishing off talking about the winter break, which is going to be entered in is it a couple of years in February or something?
Yes, in 2020, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so straight into the first topic today about Arsène Wenger. I know Sam has got a couple of stats just to start us off about how they're doing in 2018.
Yeah, so basically, you may have seen on the news about Arsenal losing the plot, really, since the new year, and it is all true. It is all true. I mean, since the new year, Arsenal have recorded 8 losses and only 4 wins out of 14 games played.
Yeah, just to stop you there. Already, we're 2 months in, and you would have thought 8 losses, okay.
Over a season
would be probably the amount you see from Arsenal. But 8 losses in 2 months, that's not many games they're winning or drawing at all. That's the sort of thing I'd see from a mid-table, possibly more even relegation, that sort of battling side.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
It is. I mean, some of the names that crop up, obviously Brighton, Ostersons, Swansea, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, these are all kind of lower ranked sides than them that they would be expecting to kind of win. Of course, you still got like Manchester City winning twice, Tottenham winning, and but it's losing silly games away from home that it seems to be Arsenal's problem at the moment.
Yeah, it's not. It really isn't good, and it's not that sort of Arsenal that everyone knows of. When I think of Arsenal, I normally think of sort of like that good passing play, lots of creative midfielders, having that striker who just passes it, finishes it into the bottom corner. But that's not really happening, and I think with this, the quality of the players they got. It's sort of like the Chelsea situation when Mourinho won the league with them and then he got sacked the year after. He didn't do very well. It's sort of come back to that in the way of just, you look at the team and you think, you've got good players there. You should be performing well. What is there that hasn't been? Obviously, Arsène Wenger's been there a long time and he's done very, very well. But I feel a couple of years ago when they won the FA Cup, they had quite a strong season. I think they came second in the end when it was... it might have been the Leicester season where I think they won the Cup and it was... Everyone thought it would be a 2-horse race between Tottenham and Leicester, and then Arsenal cropped up and came second out of nowhere. I think it was something like that, and everyone thought, wow, you know what, they could possibly contend for the title next year. Didn't happen, and I thought, okay, Arsène Wenger might want to leave on a high, well, no, and that's not one. And I just feel he's sort of waiting for something to come along, either something really bad, like 10 losses in a row, or something really good, like winning the league, to end it on and be like, okay, I have to move on now. But it's just seeming like it's not going to end, and I feel that he has had a lot of time at Arsenal, and he's had a lot of time to sort of make up for sort of mistakes, and he hasn't really done any well. And we did a tweet on this just to see what you guys think. So we put a tweet out. That was the spelling error on who is Wenger in and who is Wenger out. And I think we had about 20 votes in the end. I think on this I voted Wenger out because I feel that he's had quite a lot of time there and he hasn't done very well. But Sam, what were the results on that?
Yeah, we had 20 votes. 25% of people said Wenger in, and the rest of people, which is 75%, said Wenger out.
Yeah, I think my thoughts on that is, although it's probably the biggest majority we've had on the tweet that we've done here at the commentary box, I still feel that it would have been higher. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I thought, looking at Arsenal fans' kind of reactions in the stands against Brighton, because I watched that game and Brighton just basically looked like the better side for most of the game, and they were the better side, and Arsenal just didn't turn up. It looked like for most of the game, and they were making silly mistakes. But the fans' faces and the banners just showed it all, and I thought that it would have been more for Wenger out, not just 75, maybe even 100%. I can't see any Arsenal fan that would think that Arsene should stay. Really, I don't understand it, and I would actually want to know who these people are and like what their opinion is and how they got to that opinion.
Yeah, and sort of the reasoning why. Like, I think it'd be interesting just to find out in terms of sort of possibly. I'm thinking someone could be like, well, it's happened before loads of times. Everyone goes, oh, well, he's going to get the sack, he's going to get it, but he doesn't, and it somehow changes, and then it's all right again, and Arsenal fans are happy. But I don't know, maybe that it's a sort of mentality. They like the manager. I think it's interesting. I think when they brought in Aubameyang and Ozil's on a new contract, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, and I just thought, Petr Cech. I thought, what, this is going to be a really strong side. Jack Wilshere's back in form now. I thought, what, they could turn their season around. They could do quite well, get a top 4 finish, and it could be all right. And maybe Wenger might leave at the end of the season, or he may continue on further. But it just seems it's just a dwelling, constant, laborious process of him being there, and everyone's sort of waiting for that. It's not, is he going to go? I think it's more, when is he going to go?
Yeah, I mean, we can't overlook, though, how much he's done for Arsenal. And I bet Arsenal fans are just sick of hearing people discuss Arsenal in this kind of way. But we can't forget that he's actually got a 57.2% win record at Arsenal in about 1,220 games, which is nothing to be ashamed of at all. He's won 3 Premier Leagues, which was the last one. It was in 2003-04 season, which is quite a long time ago now. But he's also won FA Cups seven times, and he's won the Community Shield 7 times. So he's made a really good name of himself for Arsenal, but he seems to be intent on kind of ruining his name by kind of crisis after crisis at Arsenal, including this one.
Yeah, he hasn't done it very well, and I think when he came in, I had a feeling that I obviously wasn't even born then. I don't think.
No,
but,
none of us were. I think 1996.
I think it was sort of the general feeling was, who is he at first, and then he did very well. I think he managed in France for a bit, and he did quite well. And it just sort of, I think he used to be a player as well.
Yes, he played for Strasbourg.
Do you know whereabouts he played?
I've no idea what position he played, but I can assume he's probably a fullback or a midfielder.
Yeah, I think a midfielder could do it. Random. But yeah. But
trying to guess where Wenger plays.
Yeah. Does anyone know?
Yeah. If you do know, you can email in via the commentarybox.contact@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at boxcommentary. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect little put in the social media. Out you go. No, that was yeah, interesting, but weird. So I think the general sort of consensus to sort of sum that topic up would be that he's been there quite a while. Yes, he has done very, very well, but I think Arsène Wenger is the time to move on.
He's almost like a ticking time bomb, just waiting to leave Arsenal at the moment. But should we move on from Arsenal? Because I bet Arsenal fans, as I said earlier, are sick of hearing people talk about their club and like this, I guess.
Indeed. So our next topic we're going to talk about is Liverpool. And I had a feeling about this topic. I know it's a bit, not random maybe, but it was sort of an ongoing thing with just, the main thing is just how Liverpool are playing in terms of their attacking threat they have. I was watching some highlights of the game they had recently against Newcastle, and I think of their second goal, I think Mane scored it or something, and the build-up play with Firmino was incredible. And it was one of the midfielders were running through, and you could just see Mane, Firmino, and Salah with 3 different options all at the same time, and it just, in a way, you got more chance of scoring because you got more options and more runs. You got Salah making a run, he could be marked. Firmino making a run, he could be marked. But then Mane might be free, and they can work together. And they must have some good attacking coaches as well, just to sort of guide them and help them through. And the individual talent from the players is very good, and none of them have come from massive backgrounds, really. Salah sort of went to Chelsea, I think he didn't really make it. Went to Fiorentina, or Roma and Fiorentina. Did quite well, got back to Premier League, and now he's doing incredible for Liverpool. Firmino, I'd never heard of before. Brazilian, presume he played in Brazilian League.
I think he played in Germany. Played in Germany for a while, yeah.
And he must have done quite well there for Liverpool to want him, and Mane coming from Southampton. But I just feel that their attack is so good.
Yeah.
And I know people say, "Oh yeah, they are the best, one of the best in the world," and I was thinking, yeah, they are, but really, they are. They are really, really good.
Because they they don't have an out-and-out striker, which is what is amazing about this. None of their players, Mane isn't an out-and-out striker, Firmino isn't an out-and-out striker, Salah isn't an out-and-out striker, Chamberlain isn't, Ings doesn't play in the first 11
no, not at
all the time. And you just look at them, they're not out-and-out strikers, but they create so many chances for each other and create so much individual chances that they don't need one, because they're just individually brilliant, and they don't need to kind of have a target man or a poacher to do that, because they can just create something out of nothing. I mean, I've just got some stats here. Mo Salah's got 24 goals this season, Robert Firmino's got 13, and Sadio Mane's got 8. So they kind of share their goals around, which makes it even more amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not just one, as you said, and just looking at some of the stats of the game, they're playing against Newcastle, sorry. 71% possession, 14 shots compared to Newcastle 7. You know, they're taking shots and they're not afraid at all, excuse me, to shoot. And even defensively, they played quite well. Karius made a really good save. You know, they're sitting second in the league now. Yes, they are 15 points off City. They are 1 point above United. United obviously having a game in hand, with they're playing tonight against Crystal Palace. Yeah. But yeah, I just think the quality they have is really, really good, and it'd be interesting to see what happens in the summer in terms of transfers. Is anyone going to come in or out? I know when Coutinho left, sort of the big shot was, are they going to do as well?
I think Jurgen Klopp himself has come out and said all his players have coped with it tremendously, because I think Coutinho was on for a record season for himself in goals.
Yeah, he was.
I think 5 goals at the time, or 6 goals, and people were saying, oh, are they going to cope? Are they going to cope? And they have, and they've arguably done better. I mean, they've scored 2.3 per game goals per game on average this season, which is just amazing to think about.
Yeah, they're just a very, very good attacking side with a lot of threat up front, and Jurgen Klopp said another thing. He just said he just loves the goals that Salah scores, and who would not want an out-and-out striker? And just going back to not an out-and-out striker, sorry, a consistent striker. But with going back to the Coutinho thing, I remember when he left, obviously everyone was thinking, oh, are they going to do well? And obviously, Sam, you were saying about them coping, but it just seems like it's not really made a difference. And if anything, exactly, they're scoring more than they were before. And I feel sometimes when you have a big player like that in your team, you sort of aim for them. So
you pass to them more, yeah.
Yeah, so you a Tottenham will look for Harry Kane.
Or look for Eriksen, yeah.
Liverpool would look for Coutinho. And obviously you think, oh, it might be easier to counter because you can just mark one man. Although it's obviously not true, because Kane is obviously still doing amazing at Tottenham. But it just feels it's so hard to even pinpoint and have many tactics, because you've got 3 players who are going to making 3 runs. Which one do you take? You've only got 4 at the back. Unless you're playing 5 and having deep centre mids, it's really hard to defend against.
Yeah, it's an unstoppable force, Liverpool's attack at the moment, and it's just wonderful to watch.
Especially with like Porto, sorry.
Yeah, dismantled the current leaders of the Portuguese league.
Exactly.
5-0, and Porto are a decent side overall and a very decent Champions League side, and they just made them look like they were nothing really. They just kind of dismantled them and made them look like an average Champions League side.
Yeah, and I think it was that if you're in the Premier League, obviously you've got teams around you, you know, they're watching you play week in, week out. They get to understand you a bit better. And in the Champions League, obviously they're not watching you as much. You get to play a random game, and if you're not prepared, you're going to be really, really punished for it. And Liverpool just served that so right and did so well. And I think Jurgen Klopp's had a lot of criticism lately, but I think he needs to get a bit of praise in terms of just, you know, he's getting players in order. He's doing well with them, and they're all doing very, very well. So that will conclude our second topic. And our last little thing was about the February winter break that they're going to be putting in was it 2021 you're saying?
2020 season.
2020. And just a little thing on that. I think it's good news. I think some people I saw online were like, well, why do we need one? We're fine now. But I know a lot of players complain and managers will be frustrated when Klopp had a big thing about it. He's like, well, I've got like 5 games in like 2 weeks, and it's crazy. They've got loads of games to play, and with Christmas as everything. I think if they were going to have a winter break, I would have thought they would have had it over Christmas or January, where the real threat is. But I guess they're just having another one. Obviously, that gives international players another time to train as well. It gives them a break. Germany do something like this as well, don't they?
Basically, at the moment, France has a winter break, Spain has a winter break, Italy has a winter break, which they've recently changed to be in February rather than January to kind of help with like international players, and they want to have the Christmas kind of football as well. So I guess that's where maybe the English winter break in February is kind of going off, because we as fans love to see football in the winter, don't we?
Yeah, especially when there's so many games at once and everyone's going crazy.
Well, that's kind of what they're going off, because most leagues do have a winter break, which means they come back fresh for the Champions League matches in mid-January. So they're kind of fresh and able to compete like that. But we don't, and it kind of really takes the energy out of the players. And some people will like ask what actually happens in a winter break, and people are saying, "Oh, don't teams just go on abroad to like hot countries to train anyways? Don't they ever actually get a rest? Or like they might go over to America to play some games for money to get like more fans abroad, etc." But that's not normally the case. What normally happens is, say, the first 2 weeks of the summer break is kind of spent relaxing for the players, and then about a week before the break kind of ends, they go somewhere to, say, Spain. Lots of European teams go to Spain, and they train there for a week and maybe have a friendly match. They do get a very good rest out of the winter breaks, and it'd be interesting to see how it affects the quality of games after the winter break compared to before.
How long will the winter break be? I don't know myself.
I think it's 2 weeks, I think. So in this case, it might be a week off and then a week training. So you might just get a week off. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that time.
Fingers crossed, no taxis will be hijacked in Barcelona by Johnny Evans and the boys from West Brom.
Or no illegal treatment like Nasri had in America to get you banned for 6 months.
So fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be quite nice for fans in terms of they could go abroad, and like you said about fans abroad, just to have a nice, just sort of a different thing and more of a relaxed thing. And then, but what I do hope is when it goes back into the season, they go bang and they kickstart loads of energy, and it's not
doesn't take
really,
the energy out.
No, it's not really slow and doesn't quite kick off as well as they want. It could happen in the first couple of seasons or so, but that's what happens. And just, I know it's very random, but a quick thing on VAR. I know
can't get away from it, can we?
I am in favour of VAR. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to take a while for people to get used to, and I think we need to slightly change the way we do it. However, there've been a lot of bad things about it. I just want to hear what you think about it, Sam. And just, I know you were for VAR, but are you still or not?
I've changed my mind.
Have you?
I'm no longer in favour of VAR.
Really?
Yeah, I think that part of the drama and part of the entertainment of football is knowing when you score a goal, that is a goal. and not you'd have to wait for about 30 seconds and think, oh wait, actually there was a foul in the build-up of play, you can't give it. If you're a fan and you can't celebrate a goal automatically, it's not fun, is it? You're always looking behind your shoulder, wondering if it was a goal or not. And like things like the Hurst goal in 1966 World Cup, did it cross the line? It might have gone to Hawkeye, and it might have not have happened. Stuff like that could have been less entertaining. So I've changed my mind.
Yeah, well, I think like things have gone on technology. I think it's a must.
Yeah.
I think VAR. I think the reason why they should use it would be, I think, purely on the basis of penalty decisions. It doesn't affect the goal thing like you were saying. Because the thing about the other day, and I was just like, if the ref sees a foul, he's not sure if it's pen or not, he can just go over to the side, and there should be maybe a time limit on it, really short, and just have a little look and give the penalty or not.
Yeah.
Because once the foul or not has been taken place, there will be a natural little pause, and it'll be fine. And the ref can blow his whistle or check when the ball goes out of play. And I think that would be a good, small but still useful way. So, for example, they use goal line technology, see the ball cross the line. They don't use it to see if it's gone off of a throw-in, do they?
No,
the linesman make that call. So any other foul on the pitch, because there's so much retrospective bans and sort of things that come in, that's fine. I think penalty calls, VAR should be used for.
I see what you mean.
And maybe nothing else. I think that could be a good idea.
Yeah, and quickly, one last point on VAR.
Go on.
I heard Chris Sutton, I think he was talking about, or it was on BT Score, they were talking about how fans actually don't get to see the decisions being made at the moment. They don't see anything on the screen. They don't even know if it's being used at all. They kind of just have to guess if the referee's holding their ear pierced to hear.
It should be a bit like TMO.
Yeah, it should be like TMO, where you can actually see what's going on and see the replays, or at least see something saying VAR is in process, and then like a board can come up and saying whether the decision's been given or not, just so the fans don't kind of sit there in limbo land not knowing what's going on. But I think we should wrap up the talk about VAR, because we could talk about it for a long time, and we might in the future devote an episode, or at least a good amount of a podcast to VAR. Definitely, of course. But
so as you know, every week we have our questions, and last week I asked Sam the topical question, because we were talking about the League Cup, and I think I asked him before about the FA Cups, and I said to him, who has won the most League Cups?
Yes.
So Sam, have you thought about this? Do you know an answer? Could you be right?
I'm going to say it's Manchester United.
And are you confident with that answer?
No.
Well, you should be to a certain extent. So United are second.
Oh.
Do you want to guess how many times they won it?
I'm going to say 8 times.
5. The winners have won it 8 times. The winners were actually Liverpool.
Oh.
And that shocked me at first. And I thought, well, they haven't definitely won much recently.
But in the past.
When you talk about is it the 80s or 90s Liverpool history where they really dominated?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess they won a lot of those there. But yeah, so Liverpool won that. Close.
Yeah,
though.
very close.
Second. I would be happy. It was quite a hard question because I saw the answer and I thought, I didn't think of them.
No, it's a good question. So my question comes into the response of the Liverpool scoring record this season. So my question is, which team in the Premier League has scored the most goals in a season?
In a season?
In a season.
So, okay. In total. Interesting. I will have a think about that. But yes, so I think that sort of wraps up everything. If we just want to, obviously, like we were saying before, get in touch on Twitter at Box Commentary. We have our polls and tweets, which will be quite regular, and obviously our YouTube channel, The Commentary Box, where every Wednesday we have our podcasts uploaded. And we do have a new format of Match Report, which will be a thing where we go and see a game and we have take photos and videos and we make them into a video for you guys to experience that with us. Any words, Sam?
Not really. I think that was a very good show.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed it at home or wherever you listen. And of course, we shall see you next week.
Yes, and we will be on iTunes soon.
Hopefully.